How's it going, everyone? My name is DrapPep. Welcome back to another installment of this series. My friends and I, when I was a kid, we used to play with like these toy soldiers, and we would pick a side. If you don't know what toy soldiers are, they're like these little tiny soldiers with a little platform underneath them that allows them to stand up on their own, and they're just small enough to where you could put them anywhere. And we would like play warfare. It's pretty much Warhammer 40k without the dice. So like we all took turns and we did the honor system where uh one person will be like, okay, this guy shoots that guy from a distance. And unless you were able to come up with like a reason why that couldn't happen, of like, well, you miss because my guy is behind something, or I'm too far up or too far away, you guys are gonna miss. Then we could probably argue of like, yeah, you missed because it's, XYZ. But a lot of times, if I see that there's a direct line of sight and it's not that far and he's got better coverage of the field, he got him. Congratulations, you got me. But then we start getting elaborate with this game by bringing in other things like helicopters and jets, because they made little tiny jet military stuff. And then eventually we start adding other toys like Star Wars related things. And this game that started off as like a tiny little toy soldier thing ended up becoming like a multiverse thing where we had like X-Wings and TIE fighters flying around, taking turns shooting at things. We even had specific rules for flying objects and tanks because you have your soldiers who had a turn and they got to shoot. Unless they had a rocket launcher, then the rocket launchers worked very similar to tanks. If there was something in the way and the tank shot at it, the tank ignored objects and was able to just hit the enemy. But at the same time, it would destroy the object. Now, those toy soldiers with rocket launchers did the same thing. But the difference is that a tank, you would shoot it and then you would take out the one person and anyone that's around it. So tanks were kind of OP. We would try to get rid of the tanks as fast as we could because it had the chance of taking out multiple people. Now, flying objects had a very similar problem, where a a jet or a helicopter can only be taken out by a rocket launcher or a tank, but like guys with guns could not shoot them down. So the tanks, for the most part, were focusing on air support, while the soldiers were pretty much fighting each other. And if there was someone that was in the way, then you'd use your tank to either destroy the building or wall that's pretty much blocking your line of sight so that you can shoot the soldier. And those were the rules. Those were all the rules. It was not a complicated game, and it was really fun. Little did I know we probably would have loved Warhammer. Little did I know Warhammer 40k probably would have been our game that we probably would have enjoyed a lot. Um, but this eventually became a cleaning game for me. I would go to my room and my mom would be like, "You need to clean your room." That's okay. Where's my toy soldiers? I need to practice anyways. I need to strategize my routine a little better because my strategy was not great. I needed to get better at the game that we played. And so I would set up all my toy soldiers in the room and I would take turns shooting back and forth. And once again, I used all of the objects in my room as buildings. So if a toy soldier was on top of an object, that means he was inside a building, which gave him like coverage. If they were behind an object, they were still covered, but it wasn't like they were inside a building or something. And so my tanks would blow up the buildings and stuff. And if the building got blown up, I just put it away. That's pretty much how I enjoyed cleaning, because I couldn't just clean my room. That was boring. I had to make a game out of it. Now, I remember I wanted a Godzilla toy because I thought I could just easily make up scenarios. One of the things I used to do is I would make little card houses out of poker cards. and make a whole village. It was fun. And I had a lot of cards. I had a lot of poker cards to do that with. And so the idea was that I was going to use a Godzilla toy that was being sold at a grocery store, an actual grocery store named Pavilions, because Pavilions had a toy aisle. And the idea was that I was going to use Godzilla to destroy all the buildings, and it was the soldiers' mission to stop Godzilla. So I asked my dad, I'm like, hey, can I get that Godzilla toy that's in Pavilions? Because I love Godzilla. I loved Godzilla. And my dad goes, oh, yeah, we'll get that for your birthday. And it's like, okay, cool. Birthday comes around, no Godzilla toy. I'm like, well, Dad, where is it? Oh, maybe Santa will give it to you. Okay, I can wait. I can wait till December. That's fine. Christmas comes, no Godzilla toy. At this point, now I'm fuming. Where is it? Where's the toy, Dad? So this went on for like years. I would always ask for it. Birthday and Christmas. We want for your birthday. We want for Christmas. Godzilla toy. As it turned out, my dad couldn't find it. They stopped selling it. The day it was in the store was the last week they were selling it. And by the way, that same toy is worth like, I think $90 now. In the store when it was being sold, $20. I don't even think it was $20. I think it was 15, but still, it's worth way more now. And as a joke, as kind of like a tradition, I always ask for it. He's gotten me like so much. Like I tell him all the time, it's not that big of a deal anymore. I'm just doing it as tradition at this point. One of these days, I feel like he is going to buy me a Godzilla toy just to get me to stop. At one point, he did find a Godzilla thing that like does like the whole breathing radiation, the radioactive breath, and he tried to like buy it for me, but it was like $100. I was like, Dad, no, don't do that. It's not that serious. Don't buy this Godzilla thing from the store. He's like, well, you always ask for it. I'm like, I know, but please don't. One of these days, I probably will have like a whole collection of Godzilla things. Just not right now. I truly do love Godzilla, by the way. I do. I remember the first time I watched the movie, I was just a kid, and it was supposed to be scary because my mom was scared of Godzilla when she was a kid. So she thought it would have the same result on me. But no, there was something really cool about watching this monster, this kaiju, rip through a city. And even as an adult, I really enjoy it. You could tell that it's just some guy in a costume destroying all these buildings and tanks. But it reminds me of when I was a kid playing toy soldiers with my friends. It reminds me of when we would have our tanks and our jets and our helicopters and our little tiny toy soldiers. And we were playing this scenario in a fake town, fake city, where we would destroy things. And then when it was destroyed, we had to put it away because it was no longer on the field. It was no longer active. And I think in a lot of ways, the reason why I love old Godzilla films so much is because it makes me reminisce on when I played toy soldiers with my friends. And a lot of the times with things like toy soldiers, even though I don't know what the proper way of playing them was supposed to be, but to us that felt like the most proper way to play them. The most logical way of playing them. And as we played this, we collected a lot. I had so many tiny toy soldiers, so many of them that like I had like a whole compartment just for it. I was dedicated to the game. I was dedicated to playing that I wanted like the best army you can think of. I had one of everything. It was so cool. And to this day, I still think I could probably easily get back into it. Like to this day, I still think I can get back into playing toy soldiers. Like, even though they're not easy to find, I still feel like I can find a way to get my hands on some and just start back up the hobby. I just need to find someone else to play it with is the thing. Just use Warhammer 40k rules with toy soldiers. Be easy. But a lot of these memories are my fondest, even though the whole "where's my Godzilla toy, Dad?" It's still a fond memory. At the time, it wasn't very fond. At the time, I was actually upset, but now I look back on it and I kind of laugh at how that all happens. And now that I know the reason why I never got it is even funnier. I don't hate these memories. These are definitely some of my favorite. And now all of you know them. That's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you everyone for joining.